Ladies and gentlemen, Tullamore Dew live at Patty McGee's.
And it's no, they never, no, they never, no more. I play the wild rover, no, never, no more. Well, I've been the wild rover for many a year, and I've spent all me money on whiskey and gin. But now I'm returning with gold and great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more. And it's no, they never,
God.
never no more. I play the wild rover, no, never no more. Well, I stopped into an alehouse that I used to frequent, and I told the landlady me money was spent. When I asked her for a follow, she answered me, "Hey, such a custom as yours I can get any day." And it's no, no, they never, no, they never, no. Will I play? No, never. Then out of me pockets I pulled sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said, "I have whiskey and wines of the best, and the words that I said sure were only in jest, and it's no, no, they never."
Almost a little blow up toys. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. This,
I'll go back to my parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And if they embrace me as on times before, then I never will play the wild rover no more. And it's no, no, they never, no, they never, no more. I play the wild rover, no, never, no more. No, they never, no, they never, no more. I play the wild rover, no, never, no more. Not a great group of bangers, Then misfortune and ruin came on me, caused me to stray from my land, far away from my friends and relations, betrayed by her black velvet band, and her eyes they shine like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land, with her hair thrown over her shoulders, tied with a black velvet band. As I went walking down Broadway, attended to stay very long, I met one of the some damsel, and she became drifting along. They watched, she pulled from her pocket, and she slipped it right into my hand. And before I had time to leave her, I was out on Van Diemen's land. And her eyes, they shine like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land, with her hair thrown over her shoulder, tied up with a black velvet band. So come all ye young Irish fellows, a warning take from me. Beware those picklesome damsels that are lurking around in Tralee. They will treat you to whiskey and porter until you're not able to stand. And before you have time to leave them, you'll be out on Van Diemen's land. And her eyes, they shine like diamonds. You'd think she was queen of the land. She was with her hair
fun, but this next one is probably more fun for the 7 people mentioned in it anyway.
Here's your part. Are you ready? And it's so dear, what can the matter be? 7 old ladies got stuck in a lavatory. They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there. All right, now we're not going to sing that. You're going to be all by yourself, so you got to do it nice and loud. Yes. Absolutely refuse to participate in the chorus. Now the first old lady was kind to Mrs. Humphrey. She went in and she made herself comfy. She tried to get up, but she couldn't get her bum free. Nobody knew she was sad. And it's all clear what can the matter be? 7 old ladies got stuck in the lavatory. They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there.
Well, the second old lady was kind Mrs. Boomer. She went in to check out her bloomers. Then she found out she should have gone in sooner. Nobody knew she was there. And it's all clear.
They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there. Now the third old lady was Jennifer Prim. She went in on a personal whim. Duck Twix, the ball, and the rim. Nobody knew she was there. Oh, dear. They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there.
The fourth old lady was kind Mrs. Schaefer. She went in, couldn't find any paper. All she found was a bricklayer's scraper. Nobody knew she was there.
And it's all clear. What can the matter be? 7 old ladies got stuck in the lavatory. They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there.
Are you really kidding? It sounds like the Vienna Boys song.
Norman, Tabernacle, whatever.
Kissing of her.
Now the 5th old lady was kind Mrs. Mason. She had to go quick, so she was the basin. That was the water that old Bart washed his face in.
Well, I guess we're down to 6 now. Now the 6th old lady was kind Miss McCrandle. She went in to adjust her left sandal. When she bent over, she was goosed by the handle. Nobody knew she was there.
And it's so dear, what can the matter be? 7 old ladies got stuck in the lavatory. They were there from Sunday till Saturday. Nobody knew they were there. Gee, how time flies when you're having fun. Here we are to the end already. Now the 7th old lady was kind Mrs. Bender. She went in to adjust her suspender. She'd been all tied up with a masculine gender.
Yeah, nobody knew I was there.
What can the matter be? 7 old ladies
Oh, okay. So I did that. And let's just make sure there's no one in the waiting room. Let's see, chat. Okay. Yeah, so Gordon, Marion, Mark. Page. Okay. Okay. Just looking to see if there's anyone else. Don't see. Oh, admit one more person in the waiting room. So, hi, Megan. So, going in order, and if my mom, and I don't see her on here, but I did see her was in the waiting room. If she's ready to give her tribute, I will honor her first. So if so, let me know, Mom. I'm like looking for where you are and not seeing you. But
she's there.
She is.
Yeah, you go to page 2. It looked like a photo of her. She was showing up on mine.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, so
Mom's lost.
yeah. So the first one who said they were ready was Gordon. And so let me find unmute, and I'm trying to find speaker view. So
it's on SM Parnes.
yeah, I got you there. I'm trying to find you so I can on a
Okay.
spotlight.
I don't need a spotlight.
Oh, yeah. Let's spotlight your video.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
So everyone can see you. So go ahead, Gordon. He was a duplicate bridge player with my daddy. So yeah.
So first of all, I'm wearing a beret instead of a yarmulke. And second of all, I'm speaking as a longtime friend and bridge player, occasional partner, usually opponent. And I have something to read that I wrote up for this occasion. As I sit here writing this short little rhyme, I think of when I met Don in a long ago time. He an established player and I just a lad. You may not believe that a temper he had. Once at Margaret Pitkin's, he picked up a chair, and to stave off some violence, I used great care. I said to him calmly, Don, what can I do? He whispered, I want to go home. I'm finished. I'm through. A group of us once went to Grand Rapids to play. Nikki Suchu's apartment is where we did stay. When choosing up partners to practice one night, I said, I'll take Donnie's left. Someone else grabbed his right. But over the years, I saw Donnie mellow. To me, he was always such an interesting fellow. So many topics he knew so much about. In his reading program, he surely did tout. Speaking of Avco, I still have money I'm due. I bought a share of Avco for $1, I think in 1972. Don was so knowledgeable about way more than reading, geography, history, sports teams taking a beating, language, ethnicities, religions, he was the guy. At times, I thought he knew more about Judaism even than I. He knew many jokes, be they calm or a bold one, and listened well and laughed when someone else told one. As a competitor at bridge, he's always been fierce. At the Union, River Forest, or later at Pierce. Some of his best years at bridge were recently, true. You have to be awesome to win with a partner from MSU. I remember Don as a teacher, and I will be harsh. I remember way back to a fight with a guy named Stu Marsh. Both Donnie and Ann, also I did a stint learning to teach on the north end of Flint. So as I reflect this poem I now end, I salute a fine teacher, bridge player, and friend.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Does Susan want to speak as well?
I don't know. She's usually
I'm
not lost for
gonna
words.
say hi. And
Okay.
I'm eating a sandwich. So
Okay.
in honor of Don, he was a very good friend with my dad. He took very good care of him, and I appreciate it a lot. In
Good.
fact, I think it was Donnie that put him over as a life master, wasn't it?
Might have been.
Yeah, we missed Don. I
Yeah.
drove him crazy because I'm always late, and I was late to this. That was just to keep things going.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Okay. So I saw, let me, okay. Thanks, Sue. I'm going to, okay, cancel that. And trying to find, sorry, unmute. I'm trying to unmute Jim McCabe. There we go. And let's try to get you spotlit if I can. Okay. It does, I'm having a problem. Jim, can you unmute yourself?
I think I am.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, and I'm trying to find where you are up here so I can spotlight you.
That's Yvonne.
Yeah, that's not what I needed. I need spotlight video. Okay, now we go. Okay.
Well, Linda, I wasn't planning to go this early, but first of all, thank you for pulling this together. And thanks for setting up the call with your dad.
I had,
Two things.
yeah.
One, his spirit was still there, and twice during the call, he was very adamant that he wanted to live to dump Trump.
Yeah.
And we had some laughs over that, and being the youngest of the seven and 20 years between Don and I, we didn't have the normal brother relationship like Wally and Beaver, or my three sons. He was gone away from the home by the time I arrived. So it was just always a little different. But he was definitely McCabe, and we'll miss him and salute him. And something else that is a spot of so thanks again, Linda, and sorry about the voice, but to Don.
To Don.
Trump.
Rich, while we're here, do you want to say anything?
Well, I didn't know your dad very well, but I do want to say in the few times that I got to meet him that I found him, I was never sure of what he was going to say or when he was going to say it. And it was an actual pleasure, you know, because I got to meet him at, got to know him a little better at the weddings, past girls' weddings. And and then just spending some time with him on one of the Christmases that we were visiting. And, you know, your mom and dad were in the car and all that. So we got to spend some time then. So I got to know him a little bit, and it was certainly a pleasure that I got to. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you. So I'm going to mute you now, and I'm gonna see if I can find my mother, and I'm not, oh, there we go. Let's see if she doesn't have a video going. Mom, if you can start your video, I see your thing there, so we'll come back to you if you're ready. And let's see, I'm gonna try Tom McCabe, see if I have to ask him to unmute. Uncle Tom, if you can unmute yourself and let me know if you are ready to speak.
I'm ready.
Okay, good. So let me see if I can find where you are so I can then spotlight you. Oh, I need to cancel the spotlight video there for him. And, oops, Tom McCabe, and spotlight video for him. Okay. Okay, Uncle Tom, we may not see you, but we can hear you. So go ahead and speak.
Well, I can't see myself either.
Yeah, technology. It's great when it works, and it's a challenge when it doesn't. So speak to us.
I will say it was a real challenge to get on. I don't know how I did it. Don't ask me what I did, but all of a sudden it came on, and I don't know what I did or what I didn't do. So anyway, that was a wonderful experience. I'm glad to have this great time and being frustrated with all this new technology. But yeah, I gotta pick my nose.
We will see, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I hope everyone is safe and keep safe. But a little history. Don was 5 years older than me. But as a young boy, he took his time to, I guess, play with me. And we had a lot of games. We played, he taught me how to be a better hitter in baseball. I mean, he played with me, threw pitches and whatever. In the backyard, we played a game called rag ball, which we just got an old rag, tied up in knots, and then we challenged each other. Well, being younger and beating an older brother is not a good thing to do, but it just so happened that's the way it was. And the next phase in our life, as we grew older, I'll share a memory, kind of funny in a way. But Dad took us to a baseball game down at Atwood Stadium one night. And we came home and we were supposed to go to bed. And we started fooling around. The next thing we know, Don and I got into a little tussle. Don't know what about or why. But anyway, Dad heard us up there running around in the room. And he came up and he said, what was going on? And I think I said, Don hit me, of course. And of course, Don got the strap first, and I started to laugh. My dad turned to me and said, oh, it's funny for you. So he gave me a good swat too. So we both laughed at that and shared that little discipline together. Later, an experience that the family remembers. You had a cottage up north, and the parents, Mom and Dad, got us fishing rods to keep us busy while we went up north to the cottage. Don had a fly rod and I had a spinning rod. So the night before we left, it rained real hard, and we decided it was easier to find worms than to go up north and try to find them. So we hunted the lawn and got all kinds of night crawlers, put them in a coffee can. And when as everything was stuffed into the back trunk, we put the little can of worms in there. Of course, back in those days, very hot going up north, and then a closed trunk. By the time we got up north and opened up the thing, there was an awful smell of burned and scorched worms. So all the clothes had to be washed because they all stunk like the worms. And we never again took worms up in the trunk. We learned a lesson about that. So our first fishing trip together with a new rod, it's crazy, but I just threw out a cast and had a jitterbug on it, and bingo, I got a bag. And it was a 5-pound bass. It wasn't just a little one, it was a 5-pounder. And it was the show of the neighborhood up there by our cottage. There was a fish guy that had a fish tank, and he kept the fish in there for everybody to see how big that fish was. So right away, that was quite an exciting trip that we had together. And Don couldn't believe that I had such luck. So Don and I were always very competitive in everything we did. And as we grew up, we got playing golf together. And there's a lot of good stories there where I would do certain things that were unbelievable, like hitting a shot out of the river and put it on the green and make birdie on them. And those things didn't go over very well, as you would know how Don is when he got upset about these things. But yeah, and then we all grew up, and Don got married. We got married, and kind of strange things happened in the family. Kept us apart a little bit, and then things got better.
He said he's like sitting there waiting to be accepted.
I don't see anyone in a waiting room.
Okay.
So
Linda doesn't see you sitting in the waiting room, maybe?
okay.
So, should I stop? Okay.
Oh, that's fine. Sorry. There's someone we're having difficulty get in the waiting room. So Scott's trying to do tech support. So okay. I am going to now try to see if I can recognize my mom. And her video was going, and now it's not going anymore. Oh, Mom. So let's see. Try to see where I can find her, because I see her on the side, and trying to find her. And if I don't see her up here, then I'm cancel spotlight video, and Mom, hi. Let's spotlight video you, and you should be able to talk.
There we go.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, brother. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Welcome.
Nice to find you here.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's. How's everybody doing?
They're all muted, dear. So they can't respond.
We're the same problems we're having.
Yeah.
Okay, Linda just accepted you. You should be fine.
So hi. So say whatever you want, Mom, and then Bob. Thank you.
It's nice to see all these friendly, smiling faces, and every day I see something that I want to tell Don about that I think he'd enjoy. But I'll have to wait a while. Go ahead. I want a toast. L'chaim.
L'chaim. Do you want to say anything else, Bob?
That's it for now.
Okay. If you choose something else later, then, you know, wave me down or something like that. Okay. So.
Can I clothesline you?
What's that? Okay. I'm now going to go to Paul. Betty June's boy. It says to ask to unmute. So I'm going to cancel spotlight for Mom.
Linda, go to Marian Salaji. Paul is all teed up and ready to
Okay.
go. He's been curating his beard for weeks too. You gotta give him his spotlight.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Marian. Okay. And mute. Okay. So now let me try to find where she is here.
He looks like him too. He's the spit
right here.
image of Uncle Don.
I know. There we
Look
are.
at that.
Okay.
It's Uncle Don.
I know. Let's see where. Here we go. And spotlight video. So Paul,
Hey, hello
Marian,
everybody.
did you grow the goatee for this?
Yes, it probably to the end of the day, but it's here for now. For our Uncle Don. So I have some comments on behalf of the Salaji nieces and nephews, and I also have some personal recollections that I'm going to try to get through and share. But first of all, Aunt Anne, and frankly to everybody, so sorry that we can't tell Don, but we are going to toast him hard today. I can see that. But Don was the third child, and I found that the number 3 kept coming up as I prepared my comments for this. And, you know, he's got 3 nieces and 3 nephews from his sister Betty June, and I'm going to get back to the Tullamore Dew too, because that's my favorite as well, and that's one shared with Don. In fact, I'll tell you, when I get to my side and my personal things, my Uncle Don taught me how to love Irish whiskey. He taught me how to cheat at cards. He taught me the proper way to throw my putter. And I'll get to all 3 of those, I hope. But first and foremost, as we all talked about it, the thing that stood out the most was the special relationship he had with his sister Betty June. And some of the most moving words ever written about our mom were from Don, who dedicated his book, and I got to read this one to get it right, to teach a dyslexic, to the fond memory of my sister Betty June Salaji, who was my first and far away my most important teacher. And they just had a very special relationship, and myself and all my siblings were blessed because of that. So that was, you know, the big memory number 1. Number 2, he was just such an intelligent man. And we just all appreciated that most times. But there was a couple of times where he would give us more information than we really wanted, and I'm going to try to do that with the Tullamore Dew later. But the other thing, and this one was clearly Terry's first, is the man loved to party, and he loved to teach. And they came together on my parents' 25th wedding anniversary celebration when Don decided it was time to teach Terry how to twirl. And I guess there were some difficulties at the beginning, and they started heating up. And as it turned out, my mom really never liked that lamp anyways, no glass, and it was all a really, really good thing. But yeah, he was a loving man, a teacher, a great partier, great fun, and we all enjoyed having him as our uncle. But as for me, so Tullamore Dew. I'm pretty sure Don would want me to explain to you that this is a blended, it was the first blended Irish whiskey. And all good Irish whiskeys are triple distilled, as is all three blends that go into the Tullamore Dew to give it its complex taste. But you'll have pot still whiskey, you have some grain whiskey, and you also have some Bushmills whiskey in Tullamore Dew. And you have only 3 ingredients, and you also have 3 different casks. So I think it was a natural that my Uncle Don and I shared this a couple of times. And what really was special to me is the Dew was actually the gentleman's initials who invented the whiskey. I think 1829. But the slogan forever was give every man his due. Don was a guy who gave every man his due, who always fought for the underdog and really fought hard for the underdog. But let me get about cheating at cards. A story that starts with maybe 20 people around, and Don was particularly upset about the lack of fair play in a tournament. And after a while, everyone found something else to do, and it was just left with me and my Uncle Don, who was still quite mad about this event and this tournament. And I just said, Uncle Don, that's terrible. Tell me what they were doing. So Don kept telling me all the ways they were using inflection, hand signals, gesturing, all these other things. And at the end, I said, thanks, Uncle Don. I'm going to put that to good use. So yeah, he taught me how to cheat at cards. Oh, how to throw a putter. So we had a little event, and I can't remember all of the details. It's a little fuzzy, but it was on neutral territory, and it was a group of McCabe's and Salagi. We were playing some kind of best ball or scramble, and Uncle Don was my partner. And Don had about a 5-6 footer, very makeable putt, one that everyone feels they should make. And it might even have been Uncle Tom who was harassing him about there was no way he was going to make it, doing despicable things. I don't know, but Don said, no way, I'm making this thing. He strided up after, resetting himself after all this unfair, sportsmanship. And he hit a great putt. And, he was walking to take it out of the hole, and the ball hit the cup and spun all the way back right at him. The putter went up into the air. He started punching the air, kicking the air, swearing terribly. He forgot, though, that gravity does play a role when you're throwing a putter, and it came right down on the top of his head and cut the top of his head open. But so I now know if I'm going to throw my putter, I throw it out away from me. So to our Uncle Don, may he rest in peace, and thank you for the lessons you taught me.
Thank you, Paul. Does Marianne want to say anything?
I muted myself.
Oh.
She's teary-eyed over in the corner right now, so she's going to
Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Hey,
Okay.
thanks for putting this together. That was just, the pictures were great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So then Mark was the next one on the list. So Mark's iPad, I'm trying to unmute you, and I'm going to cancel Spotlight video for him and look for Mark. I've seen Mark. I know he's here.
You're unmuted.
There you are. Let's see if I can spotlight you. Oops. Yeah. Gotta.
I'll scoot when I need to.
I'm having, okay, so Mark, just start talking. Maybe that'll work. Okay.
Oh, sure. If
Yeah.
you're a McCabe, you never have difficulty talking. So I'll go ahead and start it off. First off, to all my fellow Spartans, Don McCabe was a Spartan. And so to all of you who are Spartans or want to be Spartans, go green. Kudos to, there you go. Kudos to our Colorado cousin, Paul Szilagyi. The man always knows what to say. I mean, he's good. He's smooth too. So kudos to Paul. What I would like to talk about is that when my dad died, Jack McCabe, Don was out there, Tom, Jim, just a whole bunch of people were out there. And when we were cleaning up, Don McCabe had brought this bottle, and he said, well, do you want to do some shots? And I said, Don, I've been drinking all day. I can't drink anymore. And he goes, okay, tell you what, save it. And when I come out to Colorado, that's where Jane and I currently are, I'll drink that bottle with you. So I went, okay. Well, unfortunately, he was not able to get out here. What Jane, and by the way, do you all know what a shot ski is? It looks like this.
They can't see you.
It is a shot, and there are holes poured into the ski. And what you will do, what we're going to do, is we're going to take our shots, put them in the ski, and then drink a toast to Uncle Don, who I want to add, I never saw that temper. I always, whenever I talked with him, I enjoyed the mental gymnastics that he put me through. You know, I could say a whole bunch of stuff, and I feel I'm a fairly educated man. That guy would just point out certain flaws in my logic, let's say. And then I would go, oh, that's something to think about. Anyway, I always enjoyed talking with him. He had a great mind, and every time he would have a twinkle in his eye when I would talk, because he would find something that either he really liked or he couldn't wait for me to stop so he could pick it apart. So to Don McCabe, oh, by the way, this is Jane's first time on the shot ski. I have done it quite a few times. So bear with us if it winds up in our laps. So here it goes. We're gonna try this.
Okay.
For those of you that can't see it, it's an interesting endeavor. So this is to Don McCabe, a Spartan through and through, a McCabe through and through, and a very loving man. Salute.
So,
1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Woohoo!
So Jane, do you want to say anything else?
just thank you for that wonderful slideshow and for putting this together. I was so overwhelmed when I came into the family, and frankly, 40 years, almost 41 years later, I'm still learning all kinds of things about all of you, and I love you dearly.
Good, thank you.
Oh, I do have one more thing. When I played rugby, I knew all the verses to the Seven Old Ladies song. And I thought I was the only one. And I'd sing it to Jane, and Jane knew it, and Paul and my brothers. And over the years, I kept forgetting certain names. So thank you for, because I was writing them down so that I can do all 7 verses. And if anyone gets out to Colorado, we got a shot ski and 7 old ladies waiting for you in the song. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, wanted to ask Uncle Charlie, I can see you. Are you ready? Give a thumbs up or thumbs down if you're ready. Okay, so ask to unmute.
Okay, I clicked it.
Okay, good. And so let's see if I can find you, and I'm going to spotlight your video. I found you there. Okay, yay. Okay, this is Uncle Charlie and Aunt Mary Jean. Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm on.
Yes.
Yeah, Don was my brother-in-law for over 60 years, and we did not live in close proximity, and our principal interests differed, so we didn't fraternize to any great extent. But Don had qualities that will ensure him a lasting memory, lasting place in my memory, which is disappearing rapidly, though. And foremost among them was, of course, his teaching, his passion for teaching. He was a man of multiple passions, but this was his greatest one, and teaching spelling and reading, especially to those with challenges, and including dyslexia, his book, and also regardless of their age. He did that with a great enthusiasm. As most of you know, certainly in 1974, he founded the AVCO Educational Research Foundation. And this was the implement and the embodiment of this overriding passion of his for the rest of his life. That's at least how it comes across to me. Some of Don's other favorite pleasures, though, were golf, bridge, of course, his reveling in his Irish heritage, and globetrotting. Stationed in Japan during his military years, following that, he and Anne visited far-flung places such as Australia, South Africa, Russia, Hawaii, and several trips to Ireland. Now, when I mentioned his Irish heritage, I used the finger quotes. Don did know that his grandfather had been adopted into the McCabe family, into a McCabe family, and thus the quintessential Irish name. But that begged the question, was he really, or was he maybe not? Well, in more recent times, a bit of genealogical sleuthing laid the matter to rest. It did reveal that the family history is rather complicated, but through DNA testing, it established that Don was indeed a true McCabe. And so I think right now is the time for me to offer my little toast. This is something that it's a short little toast. I think it would bring a twinkle to his eyes and a smile to his lips. It comes from a little book that Bob, Ann and Don's son, Bob, gifted me with not too long ago. And it goes, may you have food and raiment, a soft pillow for your bed. May you be in heaven 40 years before the devil knows you're dead. And with that, Don, may you rest in peace.
Thank you.
Mary Jane?
I would just like to add a side note that if I wanted to take Don anything, or if Ann and I were out together and we wanted to bring something home for Don, he would always accept a pie. No matter what flavor or color, a pie was always a good thing.
Yep. I remember one year when he was a child, his birthday gift was an apple pie, and he ate the whole thing. Or so the story goes. So yes.
Okay.
that sounds like it. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Okay.
Right.
Okay. And then, oops. Cancel that. And I'm going to go to Paige. Asked to unmute. and spotlight video. So Paige, hi.
Hi, actually, it's Randy. It's my daughter's computer.
Got it. It came up as Paige. So hi, Randy.
Hi there. How are you today? How's California?
We had a thunderstorm this morning, which is unusual.
Okay.
It was great. Yeah.
Well, I have a few memories to share of your father. I didn't know him from the family side, but I knew him from the bridge side since 2014, 15, when I set out with cancer and I had to play bridge. So I played bridge with him. He taught me the game a lot of what I know, and I've got a lot of quick one-liners. And by the way, to your relatives, Michigan State is #1. To that first speaker who was downplaying the fact that Don played with an MSU person, that was me. So go green.
Go white.
No doubt about it. First thing I want to show is when you asked me if I wanted to bray, I have something your father gave me. It's this little rock here. He said, this rock is for stress relief. When he gave it to me, I said, I think both of us could use about a dozen of these things because we're so competitive. And I tested his blood pressure many, many times, a lot of times. So real quick, a couple things that I remember and wanted to bring to I don't know, just mention to people. One of the couples watching is the Widdocks. And Don always said, as long as we beat the Widdocks, it was a good game. If we didn't beat the Widdocks, the game was a waste. The day was a waste. But I'm sure they'll remember that. I can't tell you how many times I got his blood pressure going. I can just tell you a few things. You have a very sweet mom. I brought a cartoon to the bridge game one day. It's from the Lockhorns, Loretta and Leroy, for those that don't know. He's standing up with his arms spread open, and she's laying on the floor. And he says, all I said was I was wrong. Passed out on the floor. And says, I want a copy of that for my refrigerator. So, I think we all know what that was what that was meant for. But a couple other things I did to him. One day we were playing against the guy that talked first. His name's Gordon Parnes. And we were in a tournament up in Midland. They were undefeated the whole day. We played them in the last round. It was a Swiss game. We were playing against Sue and Gordon, Don and I, and our partners Steve and Jim were playing against Ed White and Marty Hirschman. We beat them because Don and I set Gordon and Sue. They were in 6 spades going down. Our partners made 6 spades, and Sue wouldn't let him forget it. So I had to remind him that of this because he always tells me too about that school in Ann Arbor, and I tell him, you know what, you may know bridge, but you don't know how to play football anymore, so don't forget that either. One day we were playing against a couple too. These are a couple other instances from Midland. Richard and Diane Bufferding, I think is her last name. Diane passed, I bid a club, Richard passed, Don bid 1 heart, came back to me, I bid 2 hearts, which means I've got 4 hearts. Richard passed, your dad bid 4 hearts, pass, pass, pass. Diane went to lead, she laid a card down. I started laying my hand down as the dummy. Well, I laid down the jack of hearts and 2 little hearts. Then I started laying my spades down. Well, your dad started standing up in his chair because I had promised 4 hearts. I only laid 3 down. I laid down my spades, my diamonds and clubs, and he's standing up at this time, staring at my cards and staring at me. I reached down in my lap and pulled out the ace of hearts and slid it under the jack. Diane said to your dad, he got you. And your dad looks at me, he says, you asshole. I said, you were so good. You were just perfect. I'd always raise his blood pressure that way. He was really good about it. And like I said, he taught me the game, a lot of what I know about the game. One day we were playing and he opened 1 no trump. And I bid 4 hearts, which means I want him to transfer to spades. It's called the Texas transfer. Well, he passed. He says, it's on our card. We don't play Texas transfers. And I said, wait a minute. You always tell everybody I don't follow the card anyway, so why would I start now? Of course, he always takes his hands and puts them over his forehead when I do that. So that was good. We played against this other guy one day, Manny, who I just met, and I was telling Manny how Don had taught me the game. And later on in the game, I bid wrong or played wrong, and Don started getting after me for how I had played. Manny looked at him and said, hey, you taught him. Of course, he puts his hands on his head again. So I have a lot of good memories of your father. They were all fun. And like I said, I enjoyed playing bridge with him. Saw him in the hospital last week, and I told him he had to get well because he promised me he wanted to play some more bridge. I wanted to play some more too. And like I said, the last day I saw him was at your house, well, at his house.
Yeah.
And I think you remember me saying, I said to you guys, to Ann and to you, if he gives you any trouble, just give me a call. I'll be right over. And he looked at me, he says, go to hell. Then he got this big grin on his face. That's the man I like. That's the man I remember. We're super competitive. I had a lot of fun with him, and I'm going to miss him a lot, the bridge table. There's no doubt about it. So
yeah,
that's most of what I got to say. Yeah, thanks for giving me a few minutes. And
thank you for getting me the contact information for the duplicate bridge players for me to contact them. So there are a few on here. So yeah, thank you so much for helping that, because I tell you, the last 10 years of his life, duplicate bridge, yes, go green, go white, kept his mind sharp. It really did. So thank you so much, Randy. Okay.
Thanks, Linda. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
And yeah, so I'm trying to cancel the spotlight. I'm going to go to Lori Smith next, because I know she said she's got to go somewhere. So spotlight video on Lori and Michelle. Yay! Okay. And Monty. Okay, cool. So boy, you guys are like in witness protection. Like I can't, you're all in the silhouettes where we can't see your faces because the light's behind you. Can you turn a lamp on? and unmute yourself if you're not unmuted. Okay, speak. Go ahead, we can't hear you. I can't hear a thing. I see your mouth moving, and now I can see your face, yay, but I can't hear a thing. Yeah, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
I did. We're unmuted.
Yay, okay, speak.
Can you hear us?
Yes, now, finally, yay.
Yay, Michelle has a wonderful story. Oh, I don't know if it's wonderful. It's just what I remember about your dad. And, you know, for many years, being together with you and going around the ping pong table and putting your dad's AVCO pamphlets together and going around and around and around and getting paid pennies on the dollar. But I have so appreciated your dad, even more so in my later years, and having conversations about teaching and how he got inspired with the deaf, which, you know, that has my heart.
So everyone, Michelle is a teacher, and she is interpreter for the deaf. So that's where she comes. Is there any way you can turn a lamp on? No, you just have to enjoy my eternal sunshine from my voice.
You'll have to turn it
so we're good. And I will never forget that your dad was so proud of me for knowing how to spell slancha.
Slancha.
So I just want you to know I loved him very much.
There you go.
That's better. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Love you very much. Loved him very much. Love your mom. Go Sparties. Rest in peace, Don. Love you.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Lori, do you want to say something?
I just wanted to say I wanted to thank him for giving him one of the best girls a friend could have. So that was what I consider his biggest donation to this world.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Well, I can tell you, I only met him like twice in his later years, but listening to his stories were fantastic.
Amen.
So
thank you.
Cheers to him.
Cheers.
Cheers. Slancha. Okay. So I'm gonna mute you and then, yeah, okay. Let's take you off spotlight. Okay, so I'm gonna go up.
There, we put it over. Nice job.
Okay, Lori, okay, I'm gonna mute you again. There we go. So there's Linda's iPad. I don't know who that is. Asked to unmute. And spotlight. Hi.
I'm just a bridge player. I'm a friend of Ann's and Don's, and we met years ago through the bridge. And I enjoyed Don's company. I became very good friends with Ann. But one of the first times I ever played, I didn't have a partner, and I had gone in, and Don said he would play with me. He didn't mind playing with a new player. And so we're in the middle of the game, and I did something. I didn't return the right lead or something. And he leaned over right across the table like this, and he said, you know, it's not good to make your partner upset, because then when they lead back, it's not going to be a good lead to you. And he puts down a card. It's the worst lead possible. And, you know, of course, we're going to go down now. And he said, so we get done with a hand, and he said, so did you learn anything? I mean, do you understand why I was upset? And I said, well, you know, actually, I do kind of understand why you're upset, but what you don't understand is I don't really care. After that, Donnie and I got to be very good friends. But he about fell out of his chair laughing at that point. So, but I actually play bridge with your mom. And Annie, I just want you to know I love you. I love Don. And I'm here for you if you need anything. That's it. So to Donnie and Ann, Swanche.
Thank you. Good. Okay. So, and next person I see up here is Terry and Jim Hunter. Are you guys ready? Let's see if I can.
Now, you know what? How about, no, he can talk.
Oh, okay.
All right, Uncle Tom got kicked out, and so I have him on speaker right now. And see if you can hear him. Uncle Tom, go ahead and talk.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear? Put your thumb up. You can hear them. Okay, they can hear you. So you can finish what you wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I can finish what I wanted to say is I sent a message that Jay kicked me out of the meeting somehow, and it's been very enjoyable. And I want to say hello to everybody again and say I don't know if I'll ever get back in. But I'm not. All I can tell you, I don't know how I got in the first place. That was a blessed miracle.
Whoops, are you still there? Okay, I think his call got dropped. I was trying, before you called on me, I was trying to get Uncle Tom back in to the virtual funeral. So someone go on. Could you go on without me and let me help him try to get back in? Because I know he doesn't, he hates missing all this.
Okay.
In case I never get back on, I just wanted to extend my love and deepest sympathies to Aunt Ann and you, Linda, and Bobby, and all of Don's immediate family.
Thank you. Okay.
I know it's tough, but I'm gonna go back, jump off, and try to get Uncle Tom back on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for doing tech support. Yay! Okay, and then I will cancel Spotlight. Next I see is Joanne. Are you ready? If you are, nod your head or something. You're not ready? Okay. Jerry, are you ready? Yes? Okay. So I'm asked to unmute you, and I will spotlight your video. Hi, Jerry. And I can't hear you. Let's see. It looks like it's unmuted, but I don't hear you. I don't know if there's what you can do. Okay. I saw something. Are you Jerry Monroe? Okay. I saw something that if in case we don't get to hear you, I saw that you had posted something on the Ogwin, which said Don would generally greet me at the bridge table with "Hello, Jerry" with a G, and I'm going to miss that. He was always friendly and helpful. So, yeah, I don't know. Lori figured out how to get heard, but I'm not hearing you. So, okay, sorry. I will mute you and try you back later. Maybe you can figure it out. I don't know. Maybe you need to shut your computer off and come back in and try to come back in, and I'll admit you again, because sometimes there's weird things like that. Okay? Okay. I got something of try pressing the space bar if you can't be heard as you speak. Try pressing the space bar. Why am I unmuted? Try speaking now. Space bar and speak, and then I'm not hearing you. Okay. So, okay, I guess I had muted you. Okay. Sorry, we use it. I don't know. Okay. Okay, try spacebar and speak again one more time. And I still can't hear you. So, okay. Thank you for trying. Okay, mute, and I will cancel spotlight. There's a Dan Lane? No, okay. Dan McCabe, are you ready to speak? Give me a thumbs up if you are, Danny. Okay, so let me spotlight your video, Dan.
Muted? Yay.
No, I can hear you, yay! Danny and Peggy,
That
yay!
one worked smooth. Good job. Anyhow, here's everybody with a good shot. He was a good uncle. God bless him and let him rest in peace. Amen.
Amen. Do you want to say anything, Peggy?
I'm good. Thanks, Linda.
Okay. Okay.
Short and sweet, Linda.
That's fine. We'll go. And cancel that. Yvonne, are you ready? Yvonne?
Hello.
Are you ready? Yeah. Let's spotlight your video. Yay. Okay. Okay.
Don was my uncle, and the thing I remember first about him and Aunt Ann were when we would have a family get together and they would come to our house, they would always bring Coke with them because they wanted to make sure that they had Coke. It wouldn't be a get together if they didn't have Coke, and I guess they didn't trust us to provide it, so they just made sure they brought their own. So that was what I remember from my childhood.
Okay. Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
For now.
Okay, that's good. Then thank you so much. And so let's look. Terry, are you ready? Yes or no? Terry, Hunter. Yes or no? I can't. No. Okay. Scott, Ian. Okay. Let's see.
Thanks.
Ask you to unmute.
Oh, I'm ready. We're ready.
Okay. And spotlight your video. Okay, there we go.
I'm big.
Yeah.
So I have to speak as the guy that took Don's daughter away. So Linda and I made a promise to marry each other very, very early in our relationship. We dated for a long time before we ever told the family that we were going to get married. And I wasn't sure that I ever impressed Don. He wasn't really forthcoming with a lot of compliments at times. And I remember, I'm not sure I was asking, I was telling that I was going to marry his daughter, and I got a, okay. He was probably expecting it at the time. But he actually paid me a compliment after Linda and I had been married for probably over a decade, and we had some drinks and we were kibitzing, and he said, you know, I didn't think my daughter was ever going to find someone that was strong enough to handle her personality. And I kind of was like, is that a compliment? and I think it was in Don's way. I do remember Don being very, very competitive. At the time when Linda and I first started dating, I was a very, very serious racquetball player. And Don was, Don had a golfer's physique and in his 50s, and I was in my 20s, and he always wanted to challenge me to a racquetball game, which I never got to have. But it was funny that he just kept saying, yeah, I'm gonna, pretty much kick your ass. That was Don. And then, I'll always remember Don for one, he had some interesting personality traits. And Linda and I had just moved to California, and Don and Ann came to visit us. And we had this nice coffee pot that made coffee in the morning. We, made sure to tell them, when you get up, the coffee be ready. You can help yourself to a cup of coffee. And I'm sure Linda knows where this story is going. So I got up and I walk into the kitchen, and we had a fairly large kitchen, and there was about 20 cupboards in the kitchen, and every single cupboard door in the kitchen was open. He did find a coffee cup for his coffee, but left every single cupboard door open. And I kind of made a snide remark. It's like, well, I guess you found the coffee cups. And, I said, the coffee cups are right above the coffee pot. And so I thought everything was cool at that point in time. And I got up the next morning, and again, every single cupboard door in the kitchen was open, because he was apparently looking for a coffee cup and didn't remember where the coffee cups were. And that actually went on for their visit. It was just every morning I would get up to cupboard doors being open. It was quite comical. So I could go on with more Don-isms, but that one will always stick out in my mind. But anyways, Dad, here's to you.
So I didn't know Don as much as I know my other grandfather. I'm, Don's third grandson, Ian. I do miss him a lot. He was someone that taught me a lot in regards to playing chess or to be competitive. I do remember him when I was very little, and he furiously rearranged my bedroom, and I did not know what was going on and why he was so angry. Apparently my bedroom was as dirty then as it is now. And as I was learning Japanese this past semester, my he passed away. My sensei was very consoling and helped me learn how to say somebody has passed away gracefully in Japanese, which I will say now since he did spend a bit of his time in Japan. Oji-san, mokunarimashita. Kenpai.
Thank you. Okay, so Jim Zalaji, you're up. So I need you to unmute. Okay, hi.
I'm unmuted.
Oh boy.
Short and
Yeah.
sweet. My brother said it all. My sister will finish it all. And to Uncle Don, the man of many words and many sayings and many berets. Nostrovia.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything, Pam?
Well, I guess my favorite Uncle Don memory, I never saw him without a beret except for Steve and Janet's wedding, when we were all having such a great time and somehow the beret came off Uncle Don into the middle of the dance floor and we all danced and celebrated around it. And it was a cute moment. He had great fun with it also. So to Uncle Don, here's to you.
Thank you. Okay. And Steve, you are up next. Oops.
Hey, I know Don had a temper, but Don had enthusiasm. He had passion. He had a spirit. He sparkled. He lived. I love that about him. What a great tribute. What a great tribute this has been. It's wonderful to see everybody together in spirit. We're together in spirit, if not virtually, and to honor Don and give our best to you, Linda and Bob and Ann. We love you all. Love you, Don. Go green.
Go white.
Go white.
Okay. And okay, and so now Jen is going for her, and unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I think I did. Can you hear me?
Yay! Okay, Jen.
Hi. It's so close when it's that big. Scary.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, actually, all of you, all of the Salajis, McCabe's, have been a big part of me growing up because I didn't have my mom. So I had you guys to remind me of things about my mom and about a good way to live and to be happy. Uncle Don was a key player in that. He would remind me of things that my mom would say or that we did, or pictures, and Aunt Ann too. And Linda, you took me under your wing, and Steve, you took me under your wing. And I appreciate both of you for doing that. But actually, my favorite Uncle Don story, Uncle Don and Uncle Jack gave me my first drink at Linda's wedding. And I don't remember the next day very well, but I remember that. And so they had little gleams in their eyes. They're like, this is Red Pop. It is. It's just a different kind. And it was like a rosé or something. I don't know what it was. I had fun. It was a fun wedding, Linda. And sorry about my dogs, of course, they go. But Uncle Don, always, like Steve said, his passion, his love. And, you know, I find that the best thing that could have happened to me is my child, the first time they were exposed to you guys at the, like kind of the Salaji reunion, they said, wow, they are so loving. They are so amazing. Like, I didn't even know that part of your family existed. And I said, yeah, I said, that's how my family is. You know, that's the people that I model myself after, you know. So I just wanted to thank you and just to say how much I miss him. He was intelligent. He was, he always had a sparkle in his eye. He always had a little joke, and he definitely always looked out for me whenever I came back into town. Sorry about that. He would make sure we got together or figure out a way for us to do stuff. So I really appreciated that. And I love you all. So to Uncle Don, see, I'm almost done. I gotta get more.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Love you all.
okay, bye, Jen. I'm going to Alyssa. It's an asked to start video, so she must not be on that. I don't know if she's interested. If she is, unmute, and I'll give you a couple seconds if you're around and you want to. If you're shy and you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm just kind of stalling. So, Debbie, she's another asked to start video and unmute. So if there isn't anyone, I don't know. Okay, let's see. How about Linda and Albert? Are you interested in speaking? No? Okay, fine. Phil Smith, do you want to speak? Up or down? Let me know if you want to speak. No? Okay. Oh, that's an up. Okay. Okay, ask to unmute, and I will spotlight your video. So Phil Smith, hopefully.
I'm one of those bridge players, and I've been with Don since about 1960. And one good thing, story, we were going to Minneapolis to a national tournament, and decided to go through, there was 4 of us guys, the Upper Peninsula across to Minneapolis to, I think it was his cousins or something. We had a room we just stayed there overnight, a few nights. And, but we got about 15 miles from Mackinac City, and I was driving his car, and he ran it out of gas. So we had to hitchhike on in there, 2 of us, and then try to get back because it was at a spot where there was a bunch of trees between the 2 lanes. Another little trick we always had, Don would sometimes forget who he was supposed to be playing with. And if we were at school or something, some of the guys come home for the weekend or something, I just call up Don and say, what time are we meeting for the game, you know? And were we supposed to play? Yeah, don't you remember? And I think he finally got, Ann used to make a big chart and write it down on the refrigerator or something for him. But we'd say, well, you must have forgot to tell Ann. But he didn't. I was playing with somebody, so we'd end up having to play with 3 guys on a pair, 1 sit out every couple of hands. Outside that, I'm gonna miss you all. You did a nice job here. I don't remember much about meeting you. I know Bobby and your dad used to come sometimes. We played tennis Saturday morning, and they would both come on over. We'd just play around with a racket in one hand and a beer in the other. But anyway, I got my Jamesons here, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Mute you and okay. So I'm going to cancel that. Mike Lane, Karen Lane, are you ready? Up or down? Okay, ask to unmute and I will spotlight your video. Hey, okay.
Good job, Linda. I'm
Thank you.
makes me feel good to see that we're all struggling with this, because this semester they interrupted my college classes that are hands-on and made me teach them online. So I hadn't done this and the students hadn't done it. So I'm kind of used to this, making it up as we go. And I really miss Don at this point, because I would have loved to talk to him about switching this over and trying to figure out how to teach on a computer and talk and discuss hands-on things. He would have enjoyed it and laughed a lot at me and my struggles. Don and I met in 1974. I was living next door to him in August, working nights, and I come from a farming background. So we couldn't have been as different as two people could be. And I'm up putting shingles on the roof in the morning, and about 11 o'clock or 11:30, Don's home by himself, and I hear a piano start up playing very loudly and him singing. So after that, it was on a Friday. So after that, I got down, cleaned up a bit, and I got some beer, and I walked over and knocked on his door. And I'm close to 6'4" and about 250 pounds. And Don, he comes to the door, and I says, anybody singing that loudly and that badly needs a beer. Now, Don tells the story that I had two six-packs. I couldn't afford 2 6-packs back then, so I probably only had one. But we became friends. We are different as night and day. We are both very competitive, play significantly different sports. I played basketball and football. We had different attitudes. We went and played golf one day, and Don was laughing because I showed up wearing boots to play at the Clio Country Club. And he's got the club pro and another gentleman who I don't know, and himself, and then me. And I play maybe 4 rounds of golf in my life. I hit the first shot, my first shot, and I nailed it. It goes about 300 yards. I'm done. I can't putt, I can't chip. And Don promptly tells the joke about the 300-pound gorilla that hits the ball. He putts the same way. So we got along well after that. We spent a lot of Sunday nights seeing who could tell the biggest story, and he held his own. He introduced me to playing bridge. I like playing bridge. I've never considered myself a bridge player, but I enjoy it, and I'm very competitive. So we did fairly well. He became grandpa to our kids. We vacationed together. My kids went to Ireland with him, and I'm going to miss him. There's a lot of times I'd like to talk to him, and he's not here, but I appreciate it. I will tell you that the first time he introduced me to bridge, I told him on a Sunday night, we were playing cards at our house, him and Ann and my wife and I. And I says, I'd like to learn to play bridge sometime. So the next Monday he picks me up. Now the first trick is me getting in that Chevette he had. And then we go play in the club championship. He's explaining me the rules as we go to Forest River, I think the name of the place was, to play bridge. And he doesn't tell me that it's a club championship or anything. We just go and get after it. So I learned a lot from him. We have completely different outlooks on life, but we always work together and we listen to each other. And I really enjoyed that. I learned a lot from him. And my wife and I did foster care. He was always there to help and give ideas and to teach. So I miss him a lot. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, Mike. Karen, do you want to say anything?
No, Mike covered it.
Okay. Well, thank you. I know you've been dear friends of both of my parents for many years, even past you moving away, and that's unusual because they've had other neighbors in that house that you used to live in, and no one near like you with friendships. So thank you so much. So thank you. Okay.
Done.
Ta-da.
Okay. Jean, do you want to speak? Give me a thumbs up or down. Okay. Donna and Tom Whittick, do you want to speak? Okay. And spotlight your video. Okay. Hi, Tom. And I've gotten the letter you sent to me as well, but I will let you speak. Oh, but we need you to be unmuted.
How's that?
That's much better. Yay. Okay, good.
Okay, thank you. Well, I played bridge against Don for about 25 years. And I wrote down a few things that kind of stuck in my head. He was always helpful to Donna, my wife, and me. And but he always competed heavily against us. And even though he tried to help us play better, he always enjoyed beating us. But finally, we got to the point where we started to bet on the bridge results. And 25 cents a hand, but it was a bragging rights. And Randy already stole my thunder because I was going to tell everybody that if I beat him for a particular day, he called it a waste of time. And even though he had fancy bidding systems, he always seemed to score near the top with a variety of partners. Probably in more recent years, I was probably the only one who could call him an old man and get away with it. Of course, I should note that I was only 5 months younger, and I always said it with a smile. But probably the one thing I happened most, and I'm going to read this because it's kind of a funny situation. Many years ago, there was a bridge picnic at Nick and Dorothy Sushu's home. And we got a poker game started with several people playing. And we used for collateral golf tees. I don't know where we got the golf tees, but we used them for betting. And anyway, the last hand that we played before the food was served was 5-card draw. And everybody folded except Don and me. Don bet and I made a large raise of golf tees. He called and re-raised a larger number of tees. Now we were out of tees and had to bet on credit. Since I had the perfect hand, namely a royal flush, I could not lose. So of course I raised a ridiculously large number of tees, and Don called again and re-raised. I finally raised him back. Well, finally we just quit because we got tired of re-raising each other. And I said, okay. I turned over my perfect hand and claimed. Don looked at me and grinned and turned over 4 aces and a deuce. I had forgotten that the dealer had called deuces wild, and now he had me beat. So finally, I had to take some trips to the store to buy golf tees to pay off the bet. After a period of time, I managed to get enough, and he had more tees now than he could possibly use in his lifetime. And Ann will probably find a drawer full somewhere around the house, Ann. He laughed at this for many years. And I must conclude by saying that he insisted that I pay off my debt. Well, at any rate, I enjoyed the competition and we were very competitive and we will certainly miss them. Thank you. And thank you, Linda, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Donna, do you wish to say anything else?
I just would like to say that we'll miss you when we get back to playing bridge. You are a great part of the bridge family. Here's to Don.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And cousin Megan McCabe and Sue, Aunt Sue, are you ready? No? Okay. Josiah Holland, do you want to speak? Okay. Okay, ask to unmute and let me find you. I want to spotlight your video. Okay. Hi.
Hi. You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For everyone, Josiah was a student of my father's, and we actually have a whole long video with him that's in 3 parts. It's on YouTube.
True. I'm YouTube famous.
Yes, I actually have it queued up if you don't.
Oh, no.
Okay, if you don't want me to show it to you,
No,
where you
no, you can.
where was young? I was like going, okay, if you want to say your piece, and then I'll show that so people can see when you were younger. Okay.
Right. I was 17. That was 17 years ago, so it was half a lifetime ago.
Yeah, you're middle-aged. Okay.
Yeah. So I met Mr. McCain, obviously getting off an airplane. He was holding up a sign with my name on it, and so I walked up and said, "I'm Josiah." He said, "Oh, good. You can read your name." He said he was sitting there worried that I wouldn't know who I was looking for, and so he had a contingency plan to just wait for the poor sap wandering around the airport, not knowing where to go. Anyway. I knew right then and there that this was going to be a fun experience. I spent about a month with Don. He taught me a lot, gave me the tools I needed to learn how to read and mostly spell. Like at that time, I could read to an extent, not very well, but I couldn't spell. So because of his teachings, I was able to get to college. So I do have a bachelor's degree, and I did write him an email thanking him when I graduated. Unfortunately, I didn't really stay in touch with him. I did touch base with him a couple years ago. But just with life and everything, we didn't really stay in touch. I guess all I really have to say.
Okay. Thank you. But I was like, my father, for those who don't know, literacy was his second great passion. One was duplicate bridge, and the other one was literacy. And that wasn't what he set out to do. In the 1960s, he was teaching college prep courses at Northwestern High School. And he became involved with the teachers union. And he was an effective union organizer. And at the time, the administration had 2 different things that they did for union organizers that they wanted to neutralize. One, they would elevate them and take them into administration to, I'm canceling your, yeah, so that they would get out of harm's way, but they didn't want my dad inside the tent. So they decided to punish him, and they took away his college prep courses.
Did you get your ball down?
There's someone who's Galaxy 10 coming in. So I'm going to try to spotlight myself. I'm trying to figure out how to spotlight myself again. I'm going to more and it's not. Okay. Anyway, so he was taken, he had his college prep courses taken away from him, and he was given students who couldn't read their own name. And he didn't know how to teach that because he hadn't been taught. So he was trying to use the materials that were standard, and they weren't working for him. And so he wound up developing his own materials. And with that, he spent years and years working on trying to market them. And that became his raison d'etre. So anyway, I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen again. And that's not good. I want this up. That's not it. Oh, okay, stop. Okay, now try to share my screen again. Maybe this will show. There we go. Okay, share, and I've got it queued up.
Today, when we're talking about your being a dyslexic, I gave a short explanation about dyslexia and that it has nothing to do with intelligence. In fact, dyslexics like you tend to be very, very logical and actually believe things that they're taught. And I'm going to demonstrate to you. Now, earlier you could not read this word. Can you read it now? Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate the problems with our English language, and the next time, the very next time you see that word written, you will read it correctly and almost instantaneously. You believe me? I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, that was Josiah at 17, and so that's just a small little snippet, and it goes on. And he, my father, he wanted his materials to change the national curriculum, and that was a goal that he never succeeded in. And he tried to find someone to take his materials and then continue them after he died. And he was looking for the right partner for many years. And he found someone that he thought was a good partner. And then shortly after he signed over his rights to some materials, he discovered the guy was a shyster. And so then there was a lawsuit, and then there was a counter lawsuit, and it got really ugly. It went on for years, and it wound up bankrupting AFCO. And so he was really brokenhearted over that. And the last week of his life, when I went back to spend time with him, he wanted a new website to be created, and he wanted to get his materials out there in a new way. And the day before he died, I talked with him and tried to make him realize that he was not a failure, because I brought up people like Josiah and others that I saw my dad tutoring in the living room or at the kitchen table. They would come in and they would think that reading was not for them, that they could never read, and that this was just one more time they were going to go through the motions, but nothing was going to change. And within half an hour, the light bulb over their head went on, and those people thought they didn't even have a filament in their light bulb, and they realized they could learn. They just had never been shown how, the right way. And they would leave with his materials, and it would change their life. And I remember this one kid that summer when I was in college, I came home, and this kid, he had just graduated from high school, but it was a gift diploma. He had like a second grade reading level. And his father found my father, and he would bring his kid, and I don't remember his name, and my dad didn't remember his name either. Sorry. But he would be dropped off in the morning while his dad was going to work, and then he would be picked up on his way home. And he spent the whole summer in intense tutoring with my dad. And at the end of that summer, he had a reading level of a sophomore in college. And it was like, that is something that doors that had been bolted shut for this kid were now open because he was literate. And I told my dad, I was like, you don't know how many people's lives you changed and how many families' lives you changed, how far the ripples in the pond went. And you may not have had the success of changing the national curriculum the way you wanted to, but you made a difference in this world. And I told him, you had a wonderful life, George Bailey. So, okay. Okay. So, anyway, that's it. So, so the next person I was going to call on was Molly Lane. She said that she was ready. So I'm going to spotlight her video. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Linda. I was ready until you made me cry. You know, I'm Mike's daughter. He talked a few minutes ago, and Don was a grandfather to all of us kids in that house. And sorry. You know, I'm a teacher today, and I can only say that I hope I'm half the teacher Don was. I saw the same things you did, Linda. I helped tutor some of the kids that came through his living room. And I can't say I would have been a teacher if I hadn't known Don. I probably would have been. It's just who I am, just like he was. But he definitely inspired me and made me understand the importance of meeting my students where they are. And I've always admired him for that. And yeah, okay, I'm done.
Okay. I want to thank Molly to everyone. I mentioned this on Facebook, but so I did not realize there was more than one band by the name of Tullamore Dew. And so I went onto iTunes and I found Tullamore Dew's music and I downloaded it and I made my video with that music. And I found a song called Whiskey in the Jar. And I figured Dad would have liked that one. And I found 2 other peppy songs. And I put together the slideshow and I sent that out. And Molly was kind enough to reply back to me that, no, that's a different band. And then she was able to get me MP3s of songs from Tullamore Dew, the one that was from the band in Flint, as opposed to one that I think is in Ireland, because there's some songs and stuff that I didn't understand. So I think it might be Gaelic partly. So anyway, she was able to help me. And Mary Lavelle, Lavengood was on here earlier. She's dropped off. She was a member of the band and she gave me official permission to use their music, and I'm grateful to that. So that was gratitude for Molly. So, okay, so I will look elsewhere. Uncle Jim and Aunt Alberta, are you wanting to say something? Okay, and then spotlight video, and I need you to try to unmute yourself. Okay.
I did. Am I here?
Yes, we can hear you. Yay.
Okay. Okay.
Yay.
Well, I am Ann's much younger brother. And back in the early days of their Ann and Don's relationship and marriage, they would come to our mother's house for Sunday dinners. And after dinner, sometimes Don and I would go out in the front yard and we'd play catch. And he taught me how to do a proper football tackle, but I'm an offensive player, so who wants to tackle anybody anyway? And then we would go in the house and he would try to teach me how to play chess. And week after week after week, we would go through this rigmarole of trying to learn how to play chess. And I learned, of course, I learned the moves easy enough, but I never learned how to beat Don in a chess game. And I think it's the only thing in life that he was unsuccessful at, was trying to teach me to play chess. So thank you, Don, for everything you've done for Ann and for everything you've done for our family and for Alberta and I. And we salute you, and God bless you, Don. Thank you.
Do you want to say anything in Alberta?
Just wanted to say I'm glad I got to know Don, a unique personality, and I'm going to miss squabbling with him.
Yes, he was very opinionated, so yes.
I'm not.
Okay. Sometimes he would just argue for argument's sake. There were times when he would disagree with me when he didn't really, just for the sake of arguments, and it would drive my mom crazy. She'd like get teary and walk in the other room. It's like, why are you fighting? We're like, we're not fighting. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks. Okay. Cousin Matt, are you ready? Thumbs up? Thumbs down? Give me a thumbs up or down if you're ready. Okay, so I need you to unmute and I'm spotlighting your video. So, hi.
Hey, unmute. Am I there?
There we go.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Uncle Don, the host, would like you to unmute. Is it there now?
Yeah.
Hello. I don't know. Did I do it?
Yeah, you're on. You're on. You're up.
Yes, technically challenged. Great memories of all of us, trick-or-treating in the old days and all that good stuff. And one of the fondest memories of your dad had to be in the mid-60s. He had a white Volkswagen that was out in the front yard. And I had never seen a car that small, nor had I been in anything with a manual shift. And I was maybe 7 or 8, and he sat down and explained the whole difference and how it all worked out. He was a unique man, and I do remember amazing him and spelling hors d'oeuvres. That was one of the good questions that he always had for me. And other than that, we had a lot of good. No, think about it. It was like, wait a minute. And I was in, gosh, I want to say 8th grade, when he was teaching at Zimmerman, something like that. Or yeah, my memory is nowhere near what it could be or should be. After a few of these lovely Bushmills, and I don't have Tullamore, but. Hey. I do remember at Dad's wake, yes, there was an awful lot of that going around. But, Linda, this was a beautiful, beautiful wake for an uncle I cared about, and everybody loved him. And Ann, I haven't seen you in a while, but darling, I love you. It all goes out to you and Bob, the whole family. Somebody, I don't know. It's tough, a bunch of firsts, but man, he was a hell of a guy, really was. I remember seeing him after the bridge tournaments, and there were some loud conversations at a little pub called, oh my gosh, the Pachyderm. I don't know if Ann remembers that. But anyway, here is to Uncle Don. Rest in peace. Love to you all.
Oh, you were going to say something about a raspberry beret.
Oh, I know it's red, but I really wanted the raspberry one. I will find one day. I was going to do a Prince tribute. Sorry. All right. Love you all.
Love you, Matt. Okay. Terry, I saw in the chat to contact you again. And let's see.
Uncle Tom?
Yeah.
You're on again.
Okay.
Okay, so that was just Linda laughing, but We were having technical difficulties, but go ahead and you're back on. Everyone's listening to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm sorry that I cannot get my all this computer information together to get me back into the meeting. Joanne B got me off, and then I'm in a quandary, and I just can't seem to get there. So, but I appreciate the effort that you put into it and all that. And I wish I could listen to everybody, but I don't think this is possible. Sorry, but that's me. And love everybody, and am enjoying what I have with the memories of God. That's it.
We love you.
Yeah, we love you too. Go with your meeting.
Okay. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to keep trying. All right. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay.
Okay. You want to talk later?
While we have the floor, we just wanted to add a couple things. Okay. No,
Sure.
can we just finish
Yeah.
up? Uncle Tom just was having so much difficulty. He was trying to do this on his iPhone, but I just wanted to make sure. I told him it was recorded, so he could always
Terry,
play this back.
Your video
I also
is
told him that I had the strong intuition to try to call him yesterday and make sure he was all set up for this. Yeah. It's what?
Frozen.
Frozen?
Your video is stopped. So
I can't hear you.
Your video isn't working.
Can you hear?
I can hear you. We can't. It's like a video or a picture of you. Yeah, photograph of you. Okay. So go ahead. What do you want to say about my dad? Anything?
Well, Jim was gonna, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
As I get closer, can you hear me? Will
can
someone
hear
give
you.
me a thumbs up if you can hear me? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, just the first time I met your dad was when we sat down and for a quick conversation, and only was an hour and 45 minutes. And again, after I got done, I was very well educated, and that was my first and big ritual of coming to a McCabe get-together.
I just wanted to, on a more serious note, heartfelt note about Uncle Don, and really you too, Ann. You always showed up. You showed up to weddings, you showed up to graduation parties, and most recently when the Salaji clan got together in 2015, you drove across the state to spend a few hours with us. And I just always appreciate the fact that, you know, family was important, and especially keeping the connection to his sisters, you know, Branch, all of us. I know that was very important to him. And also I'll be eternally grateful to Uncle Don for the things that he putting, I guess, the pen to paper in his book. And as Paul mentioned, you know, sharing his relationship with our mom. And, you know, that is going to be such a value, and it will continue to be a valuable memory keeper for our moms, for all of her legacies and all the nieces and nephews and great-grandchildren that come and follow. By him writing it down and sharing his relationship with her, it's, you know, I said it's invaluable and it's priceless, and we will miss him. And like I said for our love and support goes out to all of you as you adjust to life without him.
And I want to thank you, Terry, for reaching out to me and my mom. Oh, now you're moving. Okay. The week before he passed, and for getting some food from Bob Evans for my mom and me and Bob and my dad. That was very thoughtful and helpful, and it was very supportive at a time that it was a challenge at that time, and I wasn't sure if he was going to make it or not, and it turned out to not, but you never know. And so I wanted to express gratitude for you for facilitating that. So thank you. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna mute you and take you off spotlight. Right now I'm gonna go to gallery view, and so I'm seeing quite a few people. Is there anyone who hasn't spoken that wants to speak? If so, wave to the screen. I see, Joanne, I see your head, but was that a wave or not? Okay, is that a yes? Do you want to speak or no? Okay, if you want to speak, you need to unmute, and then I will.
All right, am I unmuted?
Yes, you're unmuted. Hi, Joanne. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, Linda. I just wanted to say hello to everyone. It's so good to see everybody, and it is my fault that Uncle Tom is off because I thought he couldn't see. I just assumed he's going to be on the computer, so he picked up my call, and I feel so horrible, but he will be able to see it later.
Yes, I'm recording this and I will upload it to YouTube. How long it will take to upload, I don't know, but yeah, I will send everyone a link.
But thank you. Just like my heartfelt condolences to you and Ann and Bobby and Scott and Ian and the other grandkids. And I know you missed him terribly. And what a great man. He loved his family. And this is a great tribute to him. It's so sad we all can't be together to raise a glass, but this is a wonderful alternative, and to be loved and to have great friends and to be passionate about your life and your hobbies and your family is just nothing better. So God bless him. God bless you all. And my heart goes out to you. And yeah, it's a great man, and fun, right? Fun.
Yes.
So here's to Uncle Don.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, cancel spotlight and going back to gallery view. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything? If not, we can do the group toast. If there's no one else who wants to speak, then I will, let me see if I can, I want to unmute everyone. And then where is the, I want to cancel all, and trying to unmute people. I guess you'll have to unmute yourself if you want to come and join. And there's more than one page of people. Yay, okay. So.
I'd like to say one thing, Linda, can I come in?
Yeah.
What's that?
I'd like to say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Some of the kids that come through our house in foster care and from friends, one is George, and he was having reading problems. He is now a graduate, he's an engineer, he is doing real well, and has two beautiful
Here's to my daddy. This is more than a 21 shot of whiskey salute. Okay, let's go.
Go, Paul.
All right. You're here. Uncle Don.
Yay!
Yay. Okay.
Hey there.
Paul, it may be the whiskey talking, but you're looking more and more like Don McCabe every time I look at you.
We all
Oh, wait,
Danny, that's
I
not.
said every time I drink one of these, I think of my Uncle Don.
Yeah.
Often as I order another. But love you all. Great job, Linda.
Well done.
Great job, Linda.
Love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job.
Rest in
Good job, Linda.
Thank you.
Good job. Love you. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.